Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. So today I am taking the Martha top and I'm going to turn it into a Martha dress. So hi everyone, welcome to today's video. Yes, the Martha top. Now this was my second sewing pattern that I brought out a couple of years ago, and I remember when I brought it out I was quite nervous. I was kind of excited because obviously it was my second sewing pattern and it was a little bit more technical, shall we say, for me in the pattern drafting scenario. I was so pleased how it turned out with a gorgeous gathered neckline, the high-low hem and the lovely very simple sleeves, and it's such a pretty top and it's perfect as well for the confident beginner, shall we say, because there's no fastenings, there's just the neck binding which forms the tie at the back with a cute little keyhole opening, and as I say, lower hem with a ruffle at the back, and it rises into a lovely gentle sweep at the front. So I thought I would come back to this little top because I haven't made one in quite a while. So I just thought this would be a fun little project to showcase the Martha top again, to come back to the pattern and just remind everybody how cute this top is. So myself and a couple of my ambassadors are going to have a little bit of a fun styling project this week. They're going to be taking the Martha top, choosing some fabrics from Minerva, because the fabrics that we're using have been sponsored by Minerva. So they've just gone on and chosen fabrics and they're going to show you how they would wear theirs, what fabric they've chose, how they would style it and anything in between. So I thought I would go one step further because obviously it is my pattern and I can't just like reproduce it again. So I thought, why not make it into a dress? So I'm going to show you, this is not a tutorial on how to make the Martha because there is a tutorial and I'll put the card up here. There is a full tutorial, but this is kind of if you want to take the top and make it into a dress, any length really. I'm going to show you how I did mine and then show you the finished result. So without further ado, let's head on over to the cutting table and let me show you what I did. So first things first, obviously you need to download the pattern, choose your size and cut out all the pattern pieces. As you can see, Geordie's there to supervise as usual. Now I've chosen my size, which is a size 12, size medium, and my patterns are all in layers, so you can just simply print off your size and then obviously put all your pieces together. Everything is marked, so you can line up all your papers and cut your pieces out. So once your pieces have cut out, obviously we're now going to extend these two pieces. So I've got the front and the back pieces and I've got to decide how long I want my piece to be. So I just measured where I would like the side of the dress to finish on my leg, because obviously the back is longer than the front because you've got that high-low hem. So I just got the tape measure, decided where I wanted it to be and made a note of that, and I've just got some pattern paper. You can use any paper to hand if you don't have pattern paper, and all I'm doing is drawing a straight line that's going to be placed to extend on the fold, and then I need to add a little bit more paper there at the bottom. Because I'm just going to get my ruler and just line up my ruler against the side seam there, and as you can see the side seam tapers out. So I'm just going to line up my ruler and draw the line extending from the side seam. I'm just marking there roughly temporary length until I decide which one I want, and then use my angle to make sure I've got a right angle there. And once I'm happy with that, I then can move on to how I want the high-low to be. So I'm just going to replicate the front of the top, the high-low section. It's up to you what you do, but I'm just kind of replicating it by eye. So once I've decided on my length, as you can see, I'm just kind of by eye drawing, mirroring the hem of the top section there, and I'm just double checking everything is straight, parallel, right angles, and just cutting it out. Drawing on all my pattern pieces that I need, all the information and markings that I need to remind me, and obviously that is the length without the ruffle on. And I'm just making a note there, my height 5'5", and the measurements that I've used for future reference. And again, you're going to do the same for the back. Now the back has to line up with the side seams, so you've got to make sure that you're lining up the side seams there. As you can see, my underarm all the way down to the hem matches up, because it's obviously got to match up, so make sure you do that as well. And I'm just going to make a quick muslin just to see how it looks on me. So if you've got some gorgeous fabric and you're not sure what it's going to look like first, I highly recommend you use maybe an old duvet cover, an old sheet, or just some old scrap fabric that you've got hanging around. Just make a mock-up just so you can see what it looks like on you, and once you're happy with your mock-up, then you can then go on to your, obviously, your precious fabric. So I'm just using some calico, which I do for all my mock-ups and my toiles. Just quickly going to cut it out. I'm just literally going to stitch the front to the back, gather the neckline. I'm not going to put any sleeves or anything like that. I just want to see what the length looks like on me. Okay, so I feel like I've got a sackcloth on. It's only muslin, so I just really wanted to see what it looks like before I actually cut into the real fabric. So you don't get the drape because it's muslin, it's much crispier and firmer. I think I'm quite happy with the length. I think I am going to possibly take off a little bit off the length, because if I'm going to add a ruffle on the bottom, it's going to make it a little bit too long. So I think I might take, I like the length where it is now. If the ruffle was on, I'll probably take a couple of centimetres off, maybe 5 centimetres, and then when the ruffle's put back on, it'll be the length, this length. I quite like it, and then obviously with the ruffle on, it'll be more floaty. And I think I might add some side pockets in, not sure. If I was going to put some pockets in, let me mark roughly where I would want my pockets. Can't really tell with the drape, but yeah, I quite like it. So that's my toile in the muslin. So now I'm going to cut it out in that lovely pale pink fabric that I've got. And I just decided afterwards that I wanted it to be a fraction shorter, because when I added the ruffle to it, it would make it really, really long. So I just took off approximately 5 centimetres. And then once I was happy with the length, then I just cut everything out. Obviously the front, which is cut on the fold, the 2 back pieces, the sleeves. Then I made my ruffle, and you can see that white piece of paper on my pattern piece there. I added a little bit extra because obviously the circumference of the hem is longer or wider, and I'm just making my own bias for the neckline. And then I'm overlocking all my pieces before I start sewing, and then pinning everything together, sewing and pressing as I go, obviously under full supervision of Geordie. And then just preparing my sleeves. So I've overlocked my sleeves, stitched the underarm seams, given them a press, and then I'm just going to press up the hem. I like to do quite a few things, press things ready and then go to the machine and sew, like bulk sew, block sew type of thing. Now here I'm adding my pocket bags to the side, deciding which is the right way up of the fabric, because my fabric is very, very similar to the right side and the wrong side, so just making sure I've got them right. But I added the pockets, but in the end I decided I didn't like them in, but you'll see that towards the end. So just sewing in the pockets anyway. Next onto the ruffle, so I've stitched my ruffle together, overlocked it, hemmed it, and I'm just gathering it to fit the hem of the dress. Pin it in place and sew it in, and set my sleeves in. And you know, there's not much, it really is a lovely simple sew, so there's nothing technical about this sewing pattern. So I'll highly recommend you have a go, even if you start off with the top first before you then go on to create the dress. So here she is in all her finished glory. Now, I did put the pockets in, and I'll show you some footage of me wearing it with the pockets, but I just felt that the pockets weren't right for this style. I just thought they were dragging the sides down, and yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. So I've took them out since. So this is with them out, and dead easy to take them out. You just literally unpick just the sides where you've stitched them in and just take the pockets out. Dead simple. I think the drape on this is beautiful, and it's turned out really well. I'm really pleased with it. It's just turned into a beautiful drapey loose style dress, and I love the high-low hemline, midi length at the front for me, maxi at the back, but you can make it any length you want. Don't forget to adjust your frill like I didn't do in the tutorial. What I did, I measured the circumference of my new hem, and I just cut it, you know, divided it in two, and then cut my frill out like that. But what I should have done was realise that the front length is different to the back length, so I should have cut out 2 pattern pieces for the frill, one for the front, one for the back, and then stitch them together, because obviously the gather would be different if you didn't. But you can't really tell on mine, but yeah, it's best to do that if you're going to do this. And you can make it any length you want. Obviously I've gone for like the midi at the front and the maxi at the back. I love it so much, I'm going to make another one. But yeah, so this is the Martha top now into a dress. Super easy to make. Let me know what you think of today's video. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've made the Martha top, and let me know if you're going to have a go at making it into a dress too. But until the next time, thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.